Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be going over the basics. We're kind of going back to the basics on reputation and listings. So we're going to jump right into it and kind of go over a statistic that we like to highlight, that 88% of buying decisions are made online these days. So that's even quite a change from in 2010, 7 years ago, where that was 60, and that continues to grow. The next thing I want to highlight is the zero moment of truth. And this is something that Google, they kind of coined the phrase zero moment of truth. And the way that the zero moment of truth works is it starts like it always has with the stimulus, that interest. So advertising, through email marketing, display, print ads, radio, TV, digital advertising, anything like that, kind of get that interest going. And then that next step traditionally would have been that yellow first moment of truth, where then you kind of walked into the store, talked to the salesperson, read a product brochure, tried samples of the product, and then made the decision to purchase. That would be the first moment of truth. But now we have this zero moment of truth, and it's in the research phase, and it takes place online. And this is where you search on search engines, you read relevant reviews online, articles, kind of even word of mouth just on social platforms. The business's reputation is what consumers say it is. So this becomes the person's zero moment of truth, and then they will continue on. And this is where they kind of make the decision whether they're going to go into that store and purchase something or not. And then after they do, if they do in fact buy that product or anything like that, service, then the second moment of truth is when they post their experience online, how the product is, how it's been working for them, anything like that. And then that becomes the next person's zero moment of truth, because those reviews are there for when people are researching. So the next thing we're going to go over is a recap of reputation management. So every day customers are talking about businesses online, whether they're on Yelp, Google, Facebook, personal blogs, or elsewhere. And since 85% of consumers find local business info online, business owners need a way to see what their customers are saying and manage their reputation. Reputation management shows businesses what people are saying about them online, and it improves their visibility in local search. And so why is reputation important? 92% of consumers now read online reviews. Star rating is the number one factor used by consumers to judge a business. 94% of consumers would use a business with a 4-star rating. So really having that 4-star rating definitely helps. As it gets lower, there's way less of a chance that a consumer is actually going to go to that business. 88% of online shoppers incorporate reviews into their purchase decision. So that goes back to that zero moment of truth. People really are looking at reviews. 86% of people will hesitate to purchase from a business that has negative online reviews. So even one or two can really jeopardize a business's reputation. If a business resolves its issue quickly and efficiently, 95% of unhappy customers return back to your business. Another reason why reputation is so important, search results are like shopping in a mall where every store sells the exact same product or service. Now, that can be really tricky because if you were in a mall and you had 5 of the same store, how are you supposed to know which one you should go to? You'd have to go in or take a look at every single one, or when it's online, you can search, and when you're searching, that all those search results are like all those different stores, and you can find out quickly. You can look at reviews and find out more about those businesses right within a few different clicks. Another reason that reputation is so important is a negative or missing online reputation makes your paid advertising work for your competitors instead of you, which is why this service needs to be a part of every media strategy that you guys do, and needs to go on continuously. It makes all the advertising we'll do more effective. Now, why is reputation so hard? There are countless review and social outlets for customers to share their experience, both positive or negative, with the world. And it's an endless task of sifting through numerous sources on a daily basis, monitoring if your business is even mentioned and if a response is required. Review sites have made it easier than ever for your customers to instantly share their opinion about your business, making it increasingly difficult to keep up. And everyone has an opinion and are progressively becoming more likely to share it. And with more reviews, that means more orders. So more business. With one review, you can see a 10% lift, 50 reviews, 30%, and 100, 37, all the way up to 200 reviews with a 44% lift. So it really does impact that growth. And then also businesses are able to use reviews as kind of a management tool, kind of the intelligence to run your business better. So with good reviews, you can kind of do some goal setting there and accolades. But with bad reviews, it kind of highlights an issue with staff training or policy issues. Now, different ratings contain different insights. Kind of the 1 to 3 star reviews, they really highlight a product's shortcoming or a place for improvement. So that's where you can really see that there are some things to be worked on. The 3 and 4 the 3 and 4 star reviews, those offer the most suggestions for either a new product or some features to something that is already there. So kind of that helpful insight or what can be done even better, but not necessarily is being done badly. So now, what are some of the best businesses to prospect to? You can kind of go for that lowest hanging fruit if you're kind of starting out. New businesses and businesses that have moved, they're kind of similar, but with a new business, they're not going to have any listing information or very minimal listing information and a reputation. With moved, their information is going to be possibly out of date if they've moved from one location to the other. So again, kind of new businesses are invisible. So the sales opportunity here kind of goes beyond reputation. It also covers listings, social, websites. So with a business or business that's moved, reputation is basically that's it's going to be even more important because their listing information may be either broken, non-existent, or need to be corrected. So while that's being done, uh, the reputation is even more important because they're going to rely on uh, seeing that business is a good place uh, while not having kind of the correct listing information. Then with social, it's really good to have social. If a business doesn't have it, that might not be something they're thinking of getting their business up and running, and it might be an oversight. But also, if they have moved, being able to get that word out that, hey, we've moved, this is our new location, you can find us here. That way that they don't get lost in their move. And websites too, that is a great thing to offer because every business needs a location page. So websites are another great thing to offer. So now kind of jumping into that idea of listings, what are online listings? Online listings are what people find about your business and how they find you online. There are over 300 places businesses could be found online, and these places range from websites, map apps on phones, to navigation in-car systems. A way to think of these is kind of how yellow pages were a decade ago, only kind of 300 times more. And why are online listings so important? People use their phones all the time to find phone numbers, addresses, to put into their GPS, to use on maps applications, and link to websites with more information. So basically, if your listings information is either incorrect or non-existent, in the case of incorrect, it would be like giving a business card to someone and that information just being all wrong so that they wouldn't actually be able to get in contact with you. If it's very much the same if you've moved. Giving an old business card and sending them to an old business isn't going to help. They're going to get there and you're not going to be there. So, of course, you wouldn't do this. And so why would people allow this to happen online as well? You would want your information online, correct? But this kind of digs into the idea of why listings are so hard. It's very messy. The online listing world is such a mess. We have to kind of we need to have a short-term, long-term, and a manual solution to have substantial and positive results. Online listings is constantly changing. Your listings need to be maintained, monitored, and updated all the time. A one-time fix is not going to cut it for the long term. So what are some of the challenges? Some of the challenges include different standards from different providers regarding how to display NAP data. Data providers accept data in different time frames. Search sites receiving data from these providers update their sites on different schedules from daily, weekly, to monthly, quarterly, and sometimes not at all. Listing data submissions may be rejected by providers for different reasons. So that's where our kind of listing strategy comes in with listing distribution. It is a great long-term solution that increases online citation and creates long-term organic search engine optimization. It consists of online business listing data that helps you rank higher on Google search, and fixing your listings at the source is kind of an insurance policy against negative effects. And that kind of comes to the end of listings and reputation. And if there's kind of a final piece of advice, is making sure that when you are explaining reputation or listing, that you do have a value proposition in there. So provide timely, relevant information about the business. Equip or service them with tools to monitor, manage, and build their online presence and reputation. And services. Offer a variety of managed services to allow them to focus on their businesses and organizational initiatives. So that brings us to the end of our webinar here for today. So I will take questions for a few minutes here if there are any. So it doesn't appear that there are any questions for today. That being said, if you do think of any questions, you can contact your partner's success manager, and they would be able to help you with any questions. Definitely feel free to reach out. We're always here and willing to give a helping hand. So that's everything for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next week.